Good evening, Bhante, and all Kalyanamita Sukhi Hotu. I'm Aliana, your moderator. Welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 16 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Tonight is the fourth class of the second topic, Ratana Sutta, the second sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who wish to join the discussion via Zoom class, where we can engage directly with Bhante, kindly contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana's Clan's Facebook Messenger. The class is still open for newcomer. However, this class is also will be broadcast on the Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Clan Facebook page and YouTube channel. Now, I would like to introduce about our speaker. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima currently is a senior advisor at Patipata, Canada, a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner as well as expert students in learning Dharma in varieties of ways. For many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisota's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on regular basis. You can check on Patisota with the link www.patisota.blogspot.com. Bhante Chandima earned a PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society in the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante, and thank you very much for the talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Bhante.
Aliana, King, we have grown into. I think more people might be joining during the time. So today is gonna be, if I'm correct, day 16. Yeah, so day 16, and then we are supposed to discuss verse number 7 and 8 for today from Ratana Sutta. That means we have done up to verse number 6. So shall we pay homage to Buddha before we get right into this stanza? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa arahatu samma sambuddhassa. So, as I mentioned previously, we have done up to verse number 6. Everybody hear me well? Huh? You hear me well, right? Okay, great. Okay, so let's ask somebody to read the stanza as usual. So who wants to read? Verse number 7. Ye suppayutta. Emma has a smile on face. Probably she wants to read. Who wants to read? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Ante. Ye suppayutta manasa dahena. Nikamino gutama sasanamhi. Te patipata amatam vigaya. La da muda nimbuti bunjamana. Idampi sange ratanam panitam. Edena sachena suvati hotu. Sadhu.
Great. Ye suppayutta. Manasa dalhena nikkamino gotama sasanamhe te patipata amatang vigaiha ladha mudha nibbuting bunjamana idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena satchena suatti. Now, as we proceed from previous stanzas to this stanza, you may sort of notice something pretty interesting. That interesting thing here, if you could notice, is that the Buddha wanted to use the bare minimum spiritual attainment as a as an example to talk about the Sangha. Now you see that these stanzas reflect about the Sangha, right? Sangha. But he picks a Sotapana, that means the bare minimum attainment in the spiritual path, as an example to talk about the virtues of the Sangha. He didn't pick Sakadagami, he didn't pick Anagami, he didn't pick an Arahant, but Arahant is always reflecting inside. But he picked Sotapana. But you won't see Sotapana here because you might see the Sotapana nature very well from the next stanza. But here too, it is about Sotapana. Let's see how it looks like. But this stanza also talks about the whole monastic community, Sangha community too. So basically, Ratana Sutta, in my understanding, Ratana Sutta talks about the value of becoming a Sotapana. This is the philosophical meaning. Although we see that it has a threefold calamities solution across the sutta, but the deeper meaning of Ratana Sutta reflects the need of becoming a Sotapana, and then to become a real part of the Sangha, and then to finish your spiritual journey. Now, our spiritual journeys are not finishing. That's the problem. When you attain Nibbana, your spiritual journey also gets ended up, because that's the purpose of the path. But here, now let's see the meaning. Ye means they. Now, actually, here refers to Arahants in the first place, but slowly Buddha is picking up Sotapannas from the next stanza. Ye de suppayutta manasa dalhena nikkamino. Now, keep in mind these three terms. Gotama Sasanami means in whose order? Gotama's order. Who is Gotama? What is Gotama here?
Our Buddha, Gautama Buddha.
Yeah, Gotama means a tribe. Yeah, Buddha is Buddha, but Gotama is a tribal name. There are other tribal names that we know in Buddhist order, like Bharadwaja, Vamana, Gotama. These are tribal terms where people understand from which caste you from, right? So this is what we understand. Gotama means his tribal name. But when you say Shakyamuni, it comes from a different background. Shakyamuni means someone who comes from Shakyans. It's kind of a race, like Shakyans and Paulians. So, but here Gotama means, Gotama refers to the Shakyamuni Buddha or Siddhartha Buddha. So here, of Shakyamuni Buddha's or Gotama Buddha's order, Sasana, there are Arahants, the perfect supreme level of the Sangha, who are Supayutta, Mansadalhena, Nikkamino. These are kind of adjectives to them. Now let's figure out what they really mean. Suppayutta. How do we understand Suppayutta? Suppayutta. Now, I want to actually tell you something in simple details. Now, these three terms, Suppayutta, Manasadalhena, Nikkamino, these three represent three aggregates of the Buddhist path. Now, Suppayutta means Sila Kanda, aggregate of the Sila, virtue. Manasadalhena means Samadhi Kanda, that means the aggregate of Samadhi. And then Nikkamino means the aggregate of Panya. Now, somebody might wonder, how do I say like that? I say like that from the commentary. Ratana Sutta commentaries, another Pali book. Otherwise, I'm not talking just because I think like that. Okay, so it's from the Paramatta Jyotika. Buddhaka Pada's commentary. Right? So you know that the text, commentary, sub-commentary, it's like that. So commentary says, is Suppayutta means the Sila Kanda of the Arahant. So how do we understand the Sila Kanda? That means the virtue part of the Arahants. Should Arahants practice Sila? You wanna say anything about it? Anybody wants to say anything about it? What do you think about the Sila of Arahants? Should they practice Sila?
Yeah, I think everyone should practice, right?
Pardon me?
I think everyone should practice Sila, right?
Yeah, everyone's supposed to practice, but if you look at from a spiritual point of view, Arahants has already come to the attainment, right? So people practice Sila to become Panya, right? At a certain point. So Arahants already moved from that place to the Samadhi and then Panya. Arahants are not supposed to practice, but they practice. So that's what they can do, right? Till they die, right? Because their Sila is not wavering enough. For Sila of other people, they get changed. Today you keep 5 precepts, tomorrow you break 1. Only you know what you break, right? It can happen, right? But Arahant Sila is not like that. It's perfect. I mean, there's no need for them to think that deeply. Now here, Suppayutta refers to their pure life, the Arahant's pure life. That comes from the purity of their Sila. That Sila is a natural Sila. It's not kind of a manually made Sila like us. Like we try to keep our Sila. We try to renew our Sila. Let's say you go to a temple for a chanting, the monks give you the precept again today, and tomorrow you go, tomorrow also give the precept. Somebody might ask, why I'm getting precept every day? If I keep my precept, why I should take the precept? Right? Somebody may ask a rational question. The monk might say, you know what, this is our tradition, you gotta take them, you gotta renew them, probably you might break them. Some might say, no, I'm not breaking, I keep them. If you break them, you're gonna take them back. But anyways, it's a traditional thing. So we don't have any argument over it. But our Sila is always subject to some challenges, practical challenges on a daily basis, right? I mean, if you look at it deeply, not like this, not from a literal background, you know yourself very well with regard to Sila. So, Arahant Sila is not something that they try their best. They are naturally virtuous. You don't have to think about it a lot. But here, their life, the Suppayutta, comes from a background where their lifestyle is very pure. Okay, because they are not practicing some Miccha Ajiva. Has anybody read about Miccha Ajiva? What is Miccha Ajiva? Wrong living, right? So wrong living is something where people earn money, where people spend their life through wrong ways, cheating other people, swindling them, lying and then making money out of it. And how many people do like that in today's world? People don't know their money are getting cheated in different nice ways. It's a good thing, but they don't know it is real or not. But anyways, Arahants don't do a job. They don't want to do a kind of a commercial job like you. But Arahants' life, the way that they sustain their life, their Pindapata food, their robes, their sheltering places, medications, they all are based from a very pure way of life. So they are not cheating people. They are not saying, okay, we are very good. I'm a very good monk. I have sila and all that. They never say like that. Probably you might think it's a very messed up monk. Huh? You don't get pleased with this monk, but we never know what's inside of that monk or a nun. We sometimes judge from outside, right? Oh, I don't think he's meditating. She's meditating, right? But we never know. Who knows? Who knows about the state of mind? Even the Arahants, they talk sometimes harshly. Remember that monk? What's his name? Pilindivach. Arahant monk. But he was a Brahmin for 500 lives. So even after he became Arahant, he calls people, hey, outcast, how are you doing? Outcast, what are you doing there? But he's not telling people outcast with a corrupted mind. That was his way of talking to others. So people thought, oh, this is not a monk actually, but he's an Arahant. Right? I'm not saying that you have to accept everybody like Divach, Arahant. Right? I'm telling you, don't judge everybody just because you see things from outside, because you never know what's going on with the inside. Now this happened. This is clear to us. Even you look at some good people, you see, he took his life yesterday. No, he's a good guy. He's a very good guy. He's a good name. But guess what happened to him yesterday? We never know. Something has been struggling to him inside. He could not take it anymore. He took his life. So in that way, we need to understand the inside of an Arahant. So their life is pure because they have advanced their sila naturally to a level where they practice sila naturally. It's not a manual sila like we have. So the Sangha here, they are those Arahant, Suppayutta, they have been practicing sila through the ways of a pure life. Then Manasa Dalhe, this is the second of the Arahants, Sangha, high level of Sangha. Now, can somebody separate out the meanings of Manasa Dalhe? What is Dalhe and what is Manasa? How do we understand these two? Dalhena and Manasa. Ye Suppayutta Manasa Dalhe. What is Manasa? It's pretty
Mind.
clear. Mind. And I explained to you the other day that we don't, in Buddhism, we don't have only one mind. We have lots of minds according to Abhidhamma. In the Western philosophical background, they say there is the mind. Right? But just because we want to maintain this cultural nuance, assumption, what you call usage, we just say the mind. But we have lots of minds according to Abhidhamma. Right? But here it says, Manasa Dalhena. What is Dalhena? Dalhena means heavy. So these Arahants have a heavy mind. Now somebody might question, really? Is heavy mind bad? Huh? When you have a heavy mind, there's a burden in your mind, you're very stressed out. Right? How do we understand this? Dalhena, Manasa Dalhena, with the heavy mind. Now the English translation given by these folks say steadfast mind. Okay, that's kind of a very what you call figurative, I would say, kind of a different way of giving that. But the literal meaning dalha means heavy. It is said that they have a heavy mind. What is this heavy mind like? Is it acceptable to say they have a heavy mind?
Is it more firm in their mind?
Yeah, that's the way how we have to take it. Firm mind. Yeah, firm mind.
It's heavy, but as if you have a lot of stuff in your mind that you're all the time thinking.
Yeah.
But if you say firm, that means you are very focused. I think it's
No, that's how we understand. If you take the English word firm, but dalha means not firm on the surface level. Dalha means heavy. That's the problem here. Now, but that's a literal meaning. So dalha has a couple meanings. Heavy in the sense of a firm mind, not the fixated mind. The fixated mind is not good. Your mind is programmed, fixated. But the Arahant's mind is very firmly rooted on something. What is that? Where their mind is firmly rooted on? Sammaditthi, right view. Their mind is firmly rooted on Sammaditthi. Their mind will not be rooted in the Sammaditthi unless they have a perfect concentration, Samma Samadhi. Right? So they have Samma Samadhi. That's why to get up to Samma Samadhi, they should have Sammaditthi, right? So Manasa Dalhena means firmly rooted mind. That means Samadhi Kanda. So that means aggregate of Samadhi. Now, you might puzzle about the aggregate. When I say aggregate, is that the word used for 5 aggregates? Yes. Normally we say Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. They are the aggregates. But they are 5 aggregates in the sense of what you call a construction of a being. But here we also take it as a positive way of naming. Especially Sila is a Kanda. Samadhi is a Kanda. Panya is a Kanda. Also, that is another way of using Kanda positive. Then Nikkamino. How do we understand this Pali word? Nikkamino. Kamino, what is Kamino? Kamino? Kamino means?
Is it some sort of a desire?
Yeah, I would say pleasures. Because desire means chanda. We should have some desires to practice Dhamma. But it can be, bad desires too. But normally, as a word, desire can be used for both. But pleasures, they are exactly connected to craving, right? Pleasures. So here, Kamino, they are not Kamino, they are Nikkamino. So they have, how do we take their level of karma? Do they have karma? They are Nikkamino.
No, I didn't get you.
Yeah, Kamino means pleasures. They are people like us, we are chasing after pleasures. Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Pottappa, Dhamma. That means sight, then what are the other things? Sounds, right? Smell, taste, touch, and then thoughts. We chase after. I mean, you might chase after different. I might chase after different. Unless we don't become enlightened. But Arahants don't do that pursuit. They don't do it. They just live, right? So our life is Kamino, but their life is Nikkamino. Nikkamino means? Nikkamino means without pleasures, right? Without pleasures. Nikkamino. So, but the commentary says Arahants don't have expectations about the body and the life. That's an interesting statement, actually. Do we have expectations for our body and life? Do we care? Do we so much concern about our bodies and our life? Now look at our life. Okay, how is my body? Is it healthy, fit, right? All that, they are pretty much concerns. And about the life, yes. How many people think about doing good things, about thinking about a future life? They're also thoughtful about the future life. Arahants don't have either. They don't care about the physical body. They have left the physical body from the mind, but still they carry until they die. And for a next life, no, never. So here, the Nikkamino, according to the commentary, means they have no expectations for this life and for the lives to come. For the lives to come, there is no problem. But even for this life. But it doesn't mean they don't brush their teeth, they don't sleep. No, they are doing that. They have to care the life, but they have no expectations, right? So we have expectations. We have, okay, I want to sleep 7 hours today. Tomorrow I'm going to eat this food. My lunch, I'm going to eat. What do you eat for lunch? You are thinking from now, I'm going to eat roti canai for my lunch. You're thinking from now. That is tomorrow lunch. And dinner, you're gonna think about, okay, like some Malay food actually. Maybe nasi lemak, You're planning for tomorrow's dinner from now because you have expected, probably you are health conscious. Probably you just like it. But arahants, they just eat it. Whatever they feel, they eat it. So we are not nikkamino. So these arahants are nikkamino. They have no expectations for the body and the lives, but they care the body. They care it, but they don't have expectations. So care and expectations are two different. So now, ye means those arahants who represent Sangha. They have sila kanda. Supayutta means that they have properly purified their life, and they have a heavy, we don't say heavy, but we can say firmly rooted mind. That means they have samadhi, perfect samadhi, and they are nikkamino. That means they have panya kanda. Actually, if you have no expectations for the body and life, means you have lots of panya. You have lots of panya. Because why do we want to maintain what do you call this body image awareness a lot? I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. We have to care because health-wise and all that. But why is it going little higher at times, probably at all the times to many people? Because they construct this person ego thing all the time. Because arahants understand this body and the lives are temporary and they are just combinations of 5 aggregates. So they have lots of panya. That's why they could do nikkamino thing. That's why they could practice the nikkamino thinking. No expectations for the body and the life. Okay, ye suppayutta. See how I take them. Ye suppayutta. Manasadal. Nikkamino. Now what we understand, ye Gotama Sasane Suppayutta. Manasadal Nikkamino. That's how we're going to take the meaning. Ye, those arahants who are in the Gotama Sasana are Suppayutta, have Silakanda, Manasadal, Samadhikanda, Nikkamino, they have Panya Kanda. Then it goes on to another level where we see Te Patipata Amatam Vigai. There is something very interesting coming up here now. I think not a lot of people think that they found it here. They, those arahants who represent the higher level of the Sangha. Patipata. What is Patipata? Patipata means they have patta, arrived in the patti, the highest place of a life of a being, the highest place. What is that highest place? That highest place is arahanthood. They have come to the highest level of the spiritual life. Amatang, te patipata, amatang, vigaiha. And amatang vigaiha. This highest level is also explained in another ways. That means amatang. Amatang means deathless state. I think I explained that this other day, right? Amatang. That means you don't actually die. When you become an arahant, you don't die. Actually, you die physically, conventionally you die, but you don't actually die from a higher spiritual point of view. Because people like us, we die, then again we are supposed to be born. But arahants, they don't die again, right? That's the level that we have to achieve. A lot of people, they explain becoming an arahant in a way, saying that we are dying, we are getting sick, but they don't talk about there is a place where we call being deathless. Then there is a place where we call, the opposite of sicknesses, the opposite of aging, the opposite of birth. That is where we understand by becoming an arahant. So those arahants have come to become an arahant. At the same time, they have come to the place where we call deathless state, amata. They don't die again. How about us? Are we going to die again after this life? Yes. Unless we, at least if we could come to Sotapana, then at least there are 3 types of Sotapana, right? Who are they? Sotapannas have different categories, different individuals. Not one kind of Sotapana. Right? There are 3 types of Sotapannas. Who are they?
3 types.
Bad question.
3 types. Is it 3 qualities?
No, not like that. Buddha understands each person's journey to become a Sotapanna is different. At the same time, the rest of their spiritual journey is also very different from one to the other one. Because when you are a teacher, you go to a class and you teach, you have to understand not every student learns at the same pace. These 30 students are different. We have to understand, although you teach the same lesson, but you have to understand that these students are learning at a different pace. So that pace, speed or whatever, should be understood by the teacher. In the same way, Buddha understood not every Sotapanna attains Nibbana within the same period of time. Based on that, Buddha called there are 3 types of Sotapanna based on how they completes their rest of the journey. Now there are 3 types of Sotapannas in that. Let me tell you. Eka Biji. Probably I'm gonna type it here. Eka Biji. The first one. Eka Biji. Second one. Polang Pola. Third one, Satakatupara. Okay. Little Pali words, but these are the ways how we understand who they are. Now let me explain to you. Now, Ekabiji Sotapanna person means there is a Sotapanna who attains Sotapanna in this life, right? Like now. Now, all these 3 Sotapannas, they attain Sotapanna now, right? This life. But this Ekabiji Sotapanna means this Sotapanna completes the whole journey within this life. That means he or she attains Nibbana in this life after becoming Sotapanna. Ekabiji. Second one is, then you understand this, he might or she might not be like that. Definitely. So he or she take Kola Sotapanna persons, take 2 to 3 lives to attain Nibbana. And Arahant. Kola. The third Sotapanna person takes the maximum time as a Sotapanna to attain Nibbana. It is said that a Sotapanna person only supposed to reborn in case he or she cannot attain Nibbana this life or next 2 to 3 lives, only goes for 7 lives only. So Satakatuparma is that one. That means she takes the whole lives, that means 7 lives, and then become an Arahant. 1, 2 to 3, then 7. That's how we take the Sotapannas. According to how they attain Nibbana. Now, actually, we have to learn them halfway in the next couple of stanzas, but I'm not going to talk a lot about them at the moment. I just want to tell you how do we understand Sotapannas here. So here now we understand they are Arahants, they have come to Arahanthood, and they are deathless, they have come to deathless state. And also, there are other ways of explaining their lives. Ladha, Mudha, Nibbutin, Bunjaman. What is Ladha? Now, Ladha means gain. They have gained something. Mudha. How have they gained Arahanthood? What is Mudha? Anybody wants to have a guess about it? What is Mudha?
Gain without expense.
What is muda?
Muda. Bhante, without expense, does it mean effortless?
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Muda, if we make it a little, simpler. Muda means free of charge. Such an interesting word. We like free stuff. Huh? This whole journey is a free of charge, free journey. We don't have to pay anything. Right? Do we have to pay for anything? For the spiritual journey? Give me a second, Aliana. Somebody is trying to log in to our discussion from Thailand. Give me a second to send the meeting details. Oh. Okay. Okay, sure. How is it become a free journey? Is it a free journey? Do we have to pay for anything? In modern days, we have to pay for some stuff, right? I mean, if we go for a retreat for the temple, we're gonna do it's okay because there are some expenses we understand, right? The food and everything, right? And some expenses. But the journey is free. That's a good news. That means this journey is open to everybody, right? It is a free journey, right? But there may be some incidental expenses if you deal with a temple, local temple, right? Definitely they have some expenses. That's a different case. Okay, so muda, the Pali word muda means arahants have come to this journey by paying how much?
Free.
By paying nothing. By paying nothing, right? That's an interesting word. Muda means free of charge, paying nothing.
Muda. Muda.
That's a good news, huh?
Good.
No need to worry about the money, especially in today's world. Nibbuting bunjamana, not even that. Now they are enjoying something. Bunjamana, nibbuting. What is nibbuting? Nibbuting means now when you attain nibbana, then what is the quality of nibbana? Now let's say you take your lunch, the food. What's the quality of lunch? After you had your lunch, you feel comfortable. You don't have any more hunger or thirst, right? Probably you feel comfortable. I mean, that is the state of eating, that you pacify your hunger. Then what's the state of nibbana? Nibbuti. Nibbuti is the state. Remember, when Prince Siddhartha was going somewhere before he became an ascetic, there was one girl who who actually recited the stanza looking at his life. Kisa Gotami. What was the verse that she said? What was that verse? Remember? She said, the one who gave birth to this man is a Nibbuta, already extinguished. The one, even the father, even the spouse of this guy, this man, right? So she was saying, Nibbuta, we call them Nibbuta fathers actually. If I find the verse, I'm going to, yeah, I got it. I got that. That's a good thing too. Here is the stanza. Gautami Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 5.3. Let me actually for you. Samyutta Nikaya 653. Name is Gautama Sutta. Now, Kisa means slim. The meaning of Kisa means thin actually. Thin Gautami. That's the meaning. Happy indeed is the mother. Happy indeed is the father. Happy indeed is the wife. Who is a Lord so glorious? Now, this is what Kisa Gautami told looking at Prince Siddhartha. She felt something very, like sometimes when you look at some people, you feel very pacified, right? You feel very calm. Sometimes when you look at some people, you feel like very burning. You also burning, they also burning, you also burning. Okay, and I'm so energetic in a different way, right? But when Kisa Gautami saw Prince Siddhartha, she felt kind of a very, different kind of a peace, right? So the point here is that I wanted to mention is that Nibbutti. Nibbutti means the peace that somebody achieves through what we call through nirvana, nibbana. Okay. So Ladda Muda Nibbutin Bunjama. Gotamassa Sasanamhi Ye Supayutta Manasa Dalhena Nikkamino Te Patipatta Amatang Vigaya Ladha Muda Nibbutin Bunjama. If I actually name the meaning again, in Gautama's order, Gautama Buddha's order, those arahants have purified themselves with sila kanda, virtue, and also they have a firmly rooted mind, manasa dalhi. They are nikkamino, that means they have no expectations for the life, body, and the life. That means they have panya kanda, aggregate of wisdom. Not only that, they have come to the nibbana, patipata. Patti means nibbana, patta. They have arrived in. And this nibbana is the deathless state. Amatang. Vigaya means arrived also. How did they come to this point? Ladha, Muda. They have come to this point by paying nothing, free of charge. At the same time, now they are experiencing the happiness of Nibbana, the peace of Nibbana. This is also a jewel of the Sangha. May you be safe well with the truth of this. This is truth, right? Okay, that's verse number 7. Any questions regarding that? Before we jump into the verse number 10.
This verse is very much on the description of the Arahant, right? Rather than Sotapana.
Yeah, now we are going to Sotapana, but the description is also inclusive about other parts of Sangha too, actually. Because now Sotapana is going to become an Arahant. And Sotapana journey also free. It's a free journey too, right? It's also a part of this free journey, starting point. Now, this whole thing is going to be included as a minimum level of Sotapana in the next stanza number 8. But this is that's why I actually mentioned at the beginning. This is more about Arahants, but it has Sotapana's inclusion too. But from the next stanza, it's about Sotapana. Because the Buddha thought it is best to pick Sotapana to describe the rest of the Sangha virtues, because otherwise, if he keeps talking about Sangha through Arahants, people don't feel it is connecting to us, because Arahant is the highest level. But Sotapana is the bare minimum level that we all can, practice. That's the starting point, right? That's why he used the starting point. Now, even let's say somebody is going to give a talk. So you see 3 very erudite, scholarly people in the audience. But if you pick these three scholarly point, 3 scholars, and then talk the topic from the scholarly point of view, everybody else will not understand what's going on, right? So you find a generic topic. In the same way, the Buddha picked Sotapanas. Any other questions so far? You can ask later too. Okay, let's go to stanza number 8. Okay, who's gonna read this stanza?
I want to try it, Bhante.
Oh, he's gonna read Ariana. Are you okay with that? Okay.
Ya tinda kilo patawi sitosia. Chatopi watebi asapa kampio. Tatu pama sapurisam wadami. Yo Arya Sachani Awecha Pasati. Idambe Sange Ratana Panitam. Etena Sachena Suati Hotu.
Okay. Yathinda kilo pataving sitosia. Chatubivate he asampakampyo. Tatupamang sappurisang vadami. Yo Arya Sachani Avecha Pasati. Idam Sangi Ratanam Panitam. Etena Sachena Suati Hotu. Now, there is a very interesting phrase here. If you could notice that. Ye yo Arya Sachani Avecha Pasati. Now someone who has attained Sotapana, at least Sotapana, and then beyond, they look at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken. How do we look at the Four Noble Truths? First, let me ask you, what are the Four Noble Truths? What are they? Then we will talk about how to see them. What are they? Anybody wants to say? They are Pali ways and Pali names and English.
Suffering.
Suffering.
The first one is suffering, yeah.
Let's make it a little bit civilized, you know. Let's say dissatisfaction. I mean, we have this, it leads to suffering because people might say, oh, suffering in the hells. This is what we know in Christianity. And people might take it wrong. So, how do we take it? Yeah, I mean, you explain the way you can, then we'll find out the rest. So you said suffering and then.
Okay. Cause of suffering, then the cessation of the cause of the suffering, then finally the eight noble.
Okay, great. So the Pali terming goes this way. It is said that Dukkha Arya Satcha is the first one. The second is Dukkha Samudaya Arya Satcha. Third is Dukkha Nirodha Arya Satcha. The fourth is Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patipata Arya Satcha. Now let's see the meaning. Now, to me, I personally, from a scholarly point, I don't give the meaning Dukkha to be suffering in the first place, because what we understand by what you call Dukkha is kind of a dissatisfaction, right? So we have this dissatisfaction. We are born and we're getting, I hear someone's is this Bella here? Probably you can. Okay, great. Can you mute your mic, please? Okay, great. Thank you. So now the best way to say is dissatisfaction, because the dissatisfaction is the primary point where we think about the suffering. So, but everybody knows this has to be what you call suffering. But I would rather name it dissatisfaction. So, the noble truth on dissatisfaction. Arya Satcha, not just truth. The noble truth on dissatisfaction. Dukkha Samudaya Arya Satcha, the noble truth of the cause of dissatisfaction. Nirodha Satcha, the noble truth on the cessation of the dissatisfaction. And the final is the noble truth on the path that leads to the cessation of the dissatisfaction. This is how we're going to take it. I mean, we make it a little bit civilized, and then we all, this is common to everybody, right? Not even to me, right? So then it has to be a little comfortable to talk, right? Otherwise somebody says, you know what, I have no suffering, I'm very comfortable now. Like if we talk this in a massive big crowd, some people might say, no, I don't have suffering. There are people suffering, I know, but they all have dissatisfaction. They are not sometimes happy about what they are going through. But as I said on the other day, people do this for the moment and then change in the next moment. That is how their happiness reigns. Okay, so the Arahants and at least the Sotapannas, they look at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken. That's the point here. But before we come to that point, let's figure out the first few lines. Yatin the kilo patavin sitosya, chatubbi vatebi asampakam. Tatupamam sappurisam vadami. Now, there is a person here who we need to understand by a simile. What's the simile here? In the kilo. What is in the kilo here? What is in Pali? What is in Pali? Anyone can guess about who Inda is? In the kilo? In the kilo?
Strong
It's
pillar,
written. Yeah.
strong pillar, Bhante.
In the kilo?
Yeah.
What is Inda? Inda in Pali means a name of a god. We call him Indra or Sakka. Kila, somebody might think Kila could be a pillar, maybe Indra's pillar. But of course, it is not that one here. Indra Kila is not that what is meant in the Ratana Sutta here. Okay, so in the kilo means a city post that is normally established in front of the front gate of a city in India at that time. That is what we call by in the kilo. This is actually established at least, I would say, 10 to 20 meters beneath the ground, because it has to be very strong. It has to establish, under the ground. Now, when the city post is established, then what will happen? Pataving means ground. Sitosya means internally grounded. Chatubbi vatebi asampakampyo. This city post is not shaken here and there by the wind. The wind can come from different directions. Chatubbi means 4 directions. What are these 4 directions? Northern direction, southern direction, eastern direction, and then western direction. Now imagine the city post in the middle. City post is not shaken from any of the winds that come from 4 areas. In the same way, a Sotapanna or somebody like higher than that looks at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken. Now the Four Noble Truths are alluded to compared to 4 directions, right? But now look at our life. We look at the Four Noble Truths by being shaken, tremble a lot, like an earthquake. We look at it, and then something comes up in our mind, and we won't be able to see it in the real way. We look at it, yeah, dukkha samudaya, dukkha nirodha. We know everything. The knowledge is super. But the practice side is always having a challenge. But here, these Four Noble Truths are being looked at without being shaken. So tatupamang sappurisang vadami. Now Buddha says, my Sangha is like that. My Sangha looks at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken. Just as a city post that is established under the ground, that is not shaken from the winds that come from the eastern, southern, northern, western directions. Is it interesting to learn how they look at the Four Noble Truths? Because we see that we normally feel we simply understand the Four Noble Truths just from the books and from the talks. But it's not like that. When we bring that to the practical life, we have to look at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken by different things. What could you think that could shake us here? What are the things that you think that could shake you? Now you also look at the Four Noble Truths. Bella, you hear me? Okay, she's new to the discussion. We've been discussing about the Ratana Sutta today. I probably know you may have.
Yeah.
Okay, I probably know that you may have read this sutta quite often. So yeah, this is how we've been doing, and you can watch our previous discussions too on YouTube next time if you want to catch up. Yeah. Okay, so what are the things that can shake us in not looking at the Four Noble Truths without being shaken? Have you ever heard the 8 vicissitudes, changing things that shake us all the time? Labu, alabu, aiso, yasu, ninda, pasansa, sukha, dukkha. These are actually troubling us all the time. Today I am profited. Let's say today you are profited, you got a lot of money, you got some good news about from your job and whatever. But tomorrow you have a big loss going to happen. You're not happy tomorrow, right? And then labu, alabu, ayaso, yaso. Today you are complimented, you are the best. You are the best. You're so happy. You have reached the standards. And the day after tomorrow or some other day, you are constructively criticized by the boss or somebody. Then you are not happy. Then labu, alabu, aiso, yaso. Ninda, pasansa, praise, blame, and then happiness and unhappiness. So do you think that these 8 always give us a good time? No. The Buddha said that in order for us not to be shaken, we have to keep our mind with upekha. Don't be too much happy with your times where you are profited, where you are complimented, right? Don't be too much worried about the times where you are criticized that much. So have a balance. So then you are not shaken. Okay, so that is how you're going to look at the Four Noble Truths also without being shaken. So if you look at them without being shaken, you'll be able to understand them more, I would say, comfortably and then in a more practical way. Okay, any questions about these 2 stanzas, verse number 7 and 8? So I can send you the PDF for the newcomer here, the Ratana Sutta. See that? This is the one we are doing here. Any questions about the stanza number 7 and 8? Maybe I ask you, what are the things you learn new today that you may have not learned before from these 2 stanzas? That's a good question, right? I know you know these 2 stanzas, but what did you learn today as a new thing that you never heard? probably that good thing, huh? Everything is free here, huh? It's a free journey.
Yeah.
Whenever it can be a free journey, but a lot of effort have to be put in, right? As lay people, we have the 8 problems that we are always facing: joy, happiness, sadness. So it can be a free journey, but to me, I think a lot of effort and resilience has to be. We have to be very strong and resilient if we want to go in the path of achieving Nibbana, right? So it's actually not exactly a free journey. I don't know. That's what I feel.
Could you rephrase the question again?
No, what I'm trying to say is, you see, you mentioned that it's a free journey.
Not I mentioned.
Verse,
The stanza
okay,
says.
verse, sorry. Verse number 7 and 8 says that it's a free journey. But my perception is we have to have a lot of resilience and effort that we have to put in to ensure that we can achieve this Sotapana or Arahantship, right? Because as lay people, as working class people, we are still subject to all those 8 problems that we are always facing: happiness, joy, sadness, everything. And personally, I think it's actually not really a free journey. To me, I think it's not really a free journey. A lot of resilience and effort has to be put in.
Let me
halfway
ask you.
through, if we fail, then we might get disillusioned. I don't know. This is my way. I mean, this is what I feel.
Yeah, let me ask you, what kind of effort do you mean here? You said that we need lots of efforts. What kind of effort do you mean here?
No, you see, if we are going to like pursue, okay,
Is it an effort that we have to do with lots of hard work?
Yeah. Hard work, not in
What kind of hard work do you refer to?
No, effort in the sense that we must know where, how do I put it? I can't word it. Let me get my thoughts correctly. What I'm trying to say is, yes, we know that we want to achieve Nibbana, but if we just say, yes, we want to achieve, and then we are just, practicing, and then halfway, then we withdraw back, then we have to go back again and start pursuing and practicing, because our journey is like all the time shaking, right? I mean, as a lay person, I'm talking in my view as a lay person.
Yeah, I think you are explaining the situation looking at your own life.
Yes.
And the kind of things you are already engaged with. Okay. So, according to what we learn here, it is always depending on the person, right? If you look at the stories at the Buddha's time, there were lots of busy people. Also people who were engaged with many other things that were able to attain different stages of attainments. The simple thing is, it is not calling to be a hard work thing. I think it depends on the person. Maybe there is a very busy, very too much engaged person, but that person can manage the mind well. Sometimes those people don't even listen to Dhamma talks. It depends on the person, because this is not something we have to decide from this life. Attaining Nibbana is a journey of many other lives, right? It's not only this life. And then you might call all the animals, they are not able to attain Nibbana this life, right? It's a journey of many lives. Also, I think it's not about the hard work. It's about how to bring the mind to the right thing, right? Although you are a busy person, although you may be busy as you think, I mean, not only you, everybody else of us, but if you look at things the way how you are supposed to look at, you will feel that you are on something. You are on the Vidarshana. Vidarshana means the practice of insight towards wisdom. So do not just come to a point that I can't do this because I am busy so and so, such and such, because that might not be a good idea. Because this is this is free. That means you don't have to pay for anything, but still you need a good management of your mind, your thoughts. If you do it with good effort, then definitely there should be a way out. I cannot guarantee for other people. It is based on how you carry your mind, right? So carrying the mind, how you cultivate it. Because if you bring this point, what about looking at a story? Like there were lay people who became Sotapana and Sakadagami, but there were a lot of monks who did not attain any of the 4 stages. Being a monk and totally devoted for the spiritual attainments, being in the temple, they were not able to do that because it's not about lay life and monastic life. It's about how you carry your mind to the right object. But basically, becoming a monk, you think, oh, they are free and everything is coming up and then they are free, they have lots of time. But just because you have time, don't think that there is the way out. It might be good for many, but not for everyone. That means, remember, there were some ladies who became Sakadagami, lay persons, we never know. And they even taught Dhamma to young monks at the Buddha time. So, although you may see like that, but I think this has to be looked at from a different angle. The angle is, it's not about the physical, busy things that you are constrained to. It's about how you take care of your mind. That is the most important thing. You may be a lay person. You may be a very busy person, but you know what's going on. If you really pay attention to your mind, that is your way out to whatever the things. I can't say this and that, but definitely there's a way out for that. So, understanding Muda, M-U-D-H-A, Muda, is very important because this gives an impression to all of us that it's free. It's free to all of us. But this free thing, just because it's free, now look at this idea. There are a lot of things that are free. How many of us take the maximum use of the free things? That's a good analogy, right? There are lots of things out there that are free. But how many of us take the maximum use of the free things? Not many of us take, right? Libraries are free. How many people go and read the books? Right? And there are many other things that are free, right? So I think the free in the sense of understanding, you don't have to, depend on. And then, because we talked about the results also, it depends on the person. I don't think being a monk or being a lay person doesn't matter to that, because they all are eligible to the final thing. Make sense? Yeah. So the only thing is, please give it a try. That's the only answer for this. Give it a try, then you will know by yourself, where can I go and what can I do? Because if you look at it just from the book's text, from a Dhamma talk, you won't understand. You need the practice. It's like telling somebody this is how you have to play piano, but unless you put your fingers on piano, you're never gonna play it, right? So it's a practice.
Bhante, can I check? You see, to be in the path of this Sotapana, I think is stream entry. So to me, is it the stream entry into the noble eightfold path? Is
Yes.
the path? So is the path is a journey. You see, as long they manage, one person manage to work, put in effort into the path of Noble Eightfold Path to be able to attain this this beginning path of enlightenment. That is Sotapana. It's just a matter they got to abandon the three feathers, right?
Okay.
To really have the faith in the Buddha instead of doubt.
Yeah, let me explain to you. Now,
Yes.
a Sotapanna means somebody who have attained to the path of Sotapana. That means that person has already eradicated 3 fetters. There are 10 fetters. 3 fetters
做完功课还玩呢。
already what you call eradicated.
Yes.
But the idea of entering the Sota, the stream, means you have correctly started practicing the Eightfold Noble Path.
Ah, that's right.
But you haven't completed it. But you have correctly now we all try to practice it. But not many people can correctly practice it. But the Sotapanna, once you became a Sotapanna, that means you don't have ego problem. You don't have problem with what you call doubts. You don't have problem with clinging to rites and rituals. Now, let's look at some of the practices that we see in some places. You see some cults, right? Buddhism is not a cult. Buddhism of not somebody's cult. Buddhism is a practice. One practice to everybody. You take it from this culture, you take it from this culture, but it's one practice, right? If you take it only, if you think that this is the only way, that means you probably stuck with the Silapada Paramasas, right? So, Sotapanna means you understand by yourself, you correctly started practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. At that point, you have eliminated the 3 fetters. But still, you have to eradicate another 7 fetters on the way. Those 7 fetters are still looming for you. Like you haven't completely eradicated your what you call raga, then your dosa, then different other raga dosa, right? There are other 7 still looming, but you have. The other thing is that we have learned that in previous future stanzas, once you attain a Sotapanna, you're not going to be reborn in the hells until you attain Nibbana. So I think rather than expecting to be reborn in a heaven, it is better to expect to be a Sotapanna, because you are you already cut off your samsara to a certain extent, and you are not going to be reborn in the hells.
So Bhante, I was if a person that observe 5 precepts very closely, uphold it, isn't it is already a very good effort for, I mean, very good effort in terms of what is it? Like you say, avoiding the samsara, I mean the hell and all that. 5 precept good enough?
Yeah, would you mind giving me a moment?
Yeah. Sister Vinita, how are you? Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay.
So, Bhante, I was told that people who uphold the 5 precepts very closely, they are already a step closer from avoiding to be born in a lower realm. Is it right, or it has to be Sotapana?
I think the practice of 5 precepts and becoming a Sotapanna two levels of the virtue and the spiritual thing, because 5 precept is not a Buddhist practice initially. It was a practice done by many Hindus. Buddha simply approved it. But when you practice 5 precepts, it is easy for you to take care of the ego, doubts, and the Silapada, right? So you have to advance. I think you have to, before that, when you practice 5 precepts, you need to go to the 10 kusala. That is our original Buddhist practice. Only by practicing the 10 kusala, you are able to practice, the rest. I would say the Sotapana thing. 5 precepts do not include everything. It is how you make a basic human. It is universally accepted. It won't make you a very deep spiritual person. You are not killing, you are not stealing, you are not misbehaving, you are not lying, you are not taking what you call food and beverages, so that you are not in a sound mind to judge anything, right? I mean, understanding. These are laws in every country. These are not precepts exact in the real Buddhist way. These are just making you a good human. But if you want to become a spiritually eligible person, you must go into 10 kusala. Right? It's the 10. I think I already shared that in a previous lesson. Then only you know how to make yourself eligible for the Sotapana practice. But if you ask me, Bhante, is keeping 5 precepts not making me to Sotapana? Yes, it is leading to, because you are making you a good person. That will definitely help you to practice 10 kusala and then Sotapana. But not just practicing the 5 precepts, you need to go to the 10 kusala and the rest.
That's right. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a long journey. Yes.
Don't say it's a long journey, because then you might think
can
it's
be fast.
long. How long is that? 10 years, 50 years? because in Patipata Sutta, it is said that what's the minimum time for someone to practice Sati and become enlightened? Minimum time, 7 days. It is said 7 days. Satipatthana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. Then how do we call 7? Just a week. Just a week. If you have the enough everything, your jiyas, every jiya you have, if you have the way. But if you don't have the jiyas, you are always grumbling and complaining, I can't do this, and we have lots of problems here, then you will never make it. You will die as a normal person like in the previous life, right? So at least if you establish your mind, I'm gonna make it in this life, that wish itself makes you a better person to become a Sota. Because this impossibility, unable thinking keeps us the journey very long. I think this has come to a certain point. This thinking has come from a very complicated background because of some of the I wouldn't call the names. I would say because of some of the writings saying that attaining Nibbana is such a very big, energetic, complicated journey. And this is how it was explained, right? These explanations are based on some of the suttas. Yes, for some people, it's a long journey. But for some others, it might not. Might not. Technically speaking, if you don't know how to swim, you have to learn it. You have to practice. But if you are bornly a good swimmer, you won't go to classes, right? You will swim. So it depends. It depends on your own mental structure, mental culture. So if you have a good mental culture, practice it. Start from your place. Start it from your own place. Start it from your life. Then you will understand it is not a long journey. It is here. That's why I shared with you the story of Rohitassa. Remember? The Rohitassa story in the Anguttara Nikaya. Rohitassa was a tapasa, ascetic, but he died and then became a deva. And then Rohitassa came to see the Buddha, and Rohitassa told the Buddha, "Dear Venerable, I wanted to go to the other end of the universe. So I started doing, because I had some of the psychic skills. But then what happened? Without eating And without doing other things, I started journeying to see the other end of the world. He said, my one foot was, my one foot was from the Eastern Ocean, the other foot was on the Western Ocean. That's how his speed was like. But I could not find, I died halfway. Then the Buddha said, the real world is not within the continents. The real world lies in this 1 fathom body. Saying our height is 1 fathom, and this in 1 fathom body, I declare the first noble truth, second, third, fourth. That means you're looking for the Nibbana. Where I'm gonna attain my Nibbana? Maybe I'm gonna go to that place. Maybe I'm gonna go to this forest. Maybe I'm gonna approach this particular place. No, Nibbana is inside of you. Find it. Just find it. In order to find that, you have to get to know who you are, what are your issues, what are your temperamental issues, what are the level of your raga, dosa. Then you will find, oh, it's within me. I'm slowly approaching. I'm slowly, probably you are quickly, urgently, you are gradually attaining there. That's how we have to understand. So for me, I think it shouldn't be a long journey. It is a journey that you're gonna make depending on your own skills, temperament, not even these particularities. Your urge. If you don't have an urge to do this, you will never make it. You will always listen to a lot of talks and read a lot of things, and you will know what it is, but it is not helping your mind because you're keeping as a knowledge. Then doing a PhD is the best thing in Buddhist studies, right? So this is a practice. That's what we always say. So because if we don't emphasize on that, the questions can come. I'm busy, I'm so much engaged. These questions come at that point. Just the practice part.
So Bhante, can I check? You see in this Noble Eightfold Path, it is a different depth and level a person walk through the path. Okay, does it mean is only like we have to a person have to complete the whole really into the Noble Eightfold Path? That's the tool to be out from all this samsara. You know, the way out, the way to, you know, to achieve nibbana. Does it mean like anagami anywhere? Is it there's a level in the noble path, or this 8 path? Does it mean is there to a certain level is anagami, arahant is complete, or what? Where does it stay at the Sagatamagami?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Have you heard about the IB program in schools? International Baccalaureate program. I think you know that, right? If a student, if a girl or boy can get into that program, that particular student won't do first year, second year university maths or whatever. He or she is exempt because he is doing that before going to the university. In the same way, it depends. As a framework, we look at it, Sotapana, Sakadagami, Anagami. Some people just attains Nibbana right away because of the strength. Some people slowly start it, become a Sotapana, and then probably stay 7 more life and then become an Arahant. Some people go to Sakadagami right away and then Nibbana. Some people become Anagami and die here, born in the one of the Suddhavasa Brahma, and then attain Nibbana there. It depends on different people. But to lay out the map, the layout, how this can go, the Buddha said these 4, levels, like as it goes higher. But when it is happening to everybody, when it is really affecting everybody, it might be different. Somebody might go 1 by 1. Somebody might go from 2 to 4. Somebody might go directly to the 4th one. become an arahant? It depends.
Okay, Bhante, this must be the condition supported by their past effort, past
Yes,
life effort
that's
to be maybe straight away it's time to be in that state. Like this Kondana suddenly been, you know,
Sotapana.
awakened with the first speech given by Buddha. He got it and he got enlightened. So
Yeah.
it must be the previous life already is already coming to that state. So
Yeah.
it's during this life we have to really put effort. We just don't care what level we are, as long we make the effort, isn't it?
No, definitely, we should have virya.
Yeah,
Virya is a
Viriya,
very important part, because
effort.
if we run out of our energy, we cannot do anything. Let's say you want to eat. You say, I'm very lazy, I don't want to eat now. I'm very lazy. Can you eat it? You should have at least little amount of energy to go and eat too, right? Then this is a practice, spiritual practice. So it depends. Not even the previous life, Hema. It is also the environment. If you don't have enough kalyana mitta, you learn these things, and then you think you have previous karma, but you don't have enough kalyana mittas. People you are surrounded by always take you to Papa Mitta's activities, drinking and squandering money, and then talk about other people gossiping. So you don't get that support. That's why it is said you have to be surrounded by like-minded people, like all of us, right? We are like-minded. We are talking how to get out of this thing, samsara, right? So Kalyana Mittas impact us. It thoroughly impacts us. Probably you may have heard some people claiming that I don't want to go to yoga, I want to go as a group, then I can do my yoga very well. I don't want to go to temple alone to meditate, I want to go with a group, so I feel the group mentality, I can do mine. So that means people affect, the people around you affect us, right? So previous good karma, and then your practice in this life, also your kalyana mittas, people surrounded by you. All these are factors whether you can really hit the target, this Sotapana and the rest, not even one.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, if there are any more questions, otherwise we're gonna transfer the merits. I think a little bit over the time today. But hopefully it was a very insightful conversation. Bella, you have a question for us? The first day. I think she's been practicing Vipassana in Thailand, I guess, in temple.
Yes. No, today. Thank you very much. I have no question.
Okay, great. Okay, questions from anybody else? We'll take one more minute. Otherwise, that's not good. We have a new face today. Dihan, are you from Sri Lanka? Dihan?
Yes, Bhante. Yes.
I mean, you are living in Sri Lanka at the moment?
No. Now I'm in Klang.
Oh, you are in Klang. Oh, near the temple.
Yeah. Bandabaru Klang. I came 2019 November to Malaysia.
Okay. Yeah. Happy to good to know. Okay. Looks like there are no questions. So then let me go to the transference of merits. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating today be transferred to all the departed people, especially the departed people in our lives, in this life, previous lives. May all these departed people be well and happy if they were reborn in a bad place like a hell. May they be able to transition, switch to a better place. If they are in a good place, may they be able to use all these good karmas to improve their samsaric life and then finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's recite the stanzas. Idam me nyati nanto tu sukita huntu nyate. Idam me nyati nanto tu sukita tu nyate. Idam me nyati nang tu sukita tu nyate. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the Devas, Nagas, and all these powerful non-human beings. May all the Devas, Nagas, Mahitikas be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us. The monks, devotees joining from here, everywhere from the world, and their families, their even their grandkids. May all they be protected, blessed by the deities, Nagas, Mahitikas, for good health, quality of life, and safety. May the Devas, Nagas, Mahitikas also be well and happy one more time. Finally, may they attain the supreme bliss of living. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammihi samdatang punya sampradang sabbe deva anumodantu sampasampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi samdatang punya sampradang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sampasampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi samdatang punya sampradang sabbe satta anumodantu sampasampatti siddhya. Aka sattha chibummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu kasasana. Aka sattha chibummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desana. Aka sattha chibummatta devanaga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mam paranti. Finally, by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all your sicknesses go away, may all your sufferings go away, may all your fears go away, may you all be safe, happy all the time, prosperous. And then I'm going to bless you with a couple more stanzas. Please let's read the pieces. Abhivadana siddhis nichang vadha pachayino chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balam ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good night, everyone. Stay safe and see you next Friday. Same